Last week on For the Record.
It's simply, how can we strengthen the fabric of community by amplifying the long-held values of love your neighbor as yourself, do not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds, and redefining the word neighbor from a geographic term to a moral concept.
My sit-down interview with Rabbi Ron Simons as he says goodbye to Pittsburgh. You said this, you said, if you talk to somebody, you can understand them. And if you understand somebody, it's really hard to hate them. Today, his wife, another local rabbi, joins the conversation.
We grew up with these values and we were educated into these values.
What this family of faith is taking with them as they say goodbye to the Steel City.
We like the small town feel and just, as it were, the neighborliness, right? The values of the gateway to the Midwest.
For the Record starts now. Welcome to For the Record. I'm Shannon Perrine. As you saw in last week's episode, I got to sit down with Rabbi Ron Simons as he leaves Pittsburgh for New York City. Rabbi Simons has been well known throughout Pittsburgh for nearly 2 decades, especially for his role as the founding director of the Jewish Community Center of Greater Pittsburgh Center for Loving Kindness. This morning, his wife, the Rabbi Barbara Simons, joins our conversation. Take a look. We continue now our conversation. We have somebody, so you know this person.
I know her a little bit, yeah.
You know her a little bit. We're talking
All
with
good.
your wife, Rabbi Barbara Simons from Temple David. Thanks for being here for the record.
Shannon.
Yeah, so, yeah, how long have you two been married?
Coming up on 32 years.
32 years. Yeah, that was a quiz question. Now, we're bringing you in to talk because this is a family affair. This is a team effort.
Yeah.
But you have been a faith leader in Pittsburgh for the same number of years as your husband. Tell me a little bit about what you've been doing in the eastern suburbs of Pittsburgh.
So to credit Ron to start with, when we were looking for I was looking for a congregation and all, I found Temple David and it was the right match, and Ron actually moved here sight unseen. He had a job that moved with him and said, we'll go and Pittsburgh will have opportunities, and it sure has, and part of them he has created. But we've done a lot of work at Temple David. Temple David was established in 1958, which was the same year as Gateway School District, when people were moving to the suburbs. Westinghouse is down the street from Temple. A lot of our congregants worked there. And we have done things both obviously within the Jewish community and the life cycles and all of those very deeply important spiritual moments, but also with the broader community. So being a part of the Monroeville Interfaith Ministerium has been central to who I have been as the rabbi in the community, and has extended through to a lot of work in the broader community.
Tell everybody what an interfaith ministerium is and who are you getting together with and what are you doing?
We are actually the most diverse group around. So in the Monroeville Interfaith Ministerium are clergy and faith leaders from Unitarian Universalist, Catholic, multiple Protestant denominations, Baha'i, Muslim, Hindu, Jain, Sikh, and Jewish. And we work together sometimes on this sort of more traditional things, which can be really hard, like a Thanksgiving gathering of worship and that kind of thing. It's hard to pray together when we come from different traditions. But when I was president, one of the things I specifically tried to do was to bring just the beauty of what we kept commenting on, of learning about each other and sharing meals and so forth, out into the community. So we created what is called the Community Network that also works with different agencies within Monroeville, elected officials and the public library and the Rotary Club and the school and the social workers within the school in particular, and many, many different groups. But what we have done is we have brought in mental health first aid training to the high school for one of their in-service days. We've done poverty simulations in the same way. When there was the horrible Cambridge Square fire, I was actually the call they made, so that they said, what can we do here? How can we have funds coming in and more so stuff coming in, which it poured in.
To remind people, there were many, many people, dozens displaced from this apartment
Yes,
fire in your
yes.
community.
And so the ministerium was the community group already established that could take the lead once the American Red Cross did its initial work, once people found temporary housing, but it was the ministerium that was continuing on with the work.
Still ahead on For the Record, the conversation continues. I speak with Rabbis Ron and Barbara Simons about their family and what's next for both of them. For the Record continues in just 2 minutes. Welcome back to For the Record. More now from my conversation with Rabbi Ron Simons and his wife, Rabbi Barbara Simons. As they say goodbye to Pittsburgh after nearly 2 decades, the pair have clearly left a mark on the Pittsburgh region. I speak with them about that and more. It sounds like you're taking those same concepts of loving kindness and doing stuff,
Right.
boots on the ground, to make an impact in Monroeville and the surrounding community.
Right.
So I'll tell you, and Rabbi Ron knows this, that I grew up as I call it a PK, a preacher's kid. My dad was a Presbyterian minister before he retired. So I get a glimpse into what it's like to be a member of clergy and a faith leader. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. I'm thinking about everything you do, Barbara, has just in your role at Temple David, and then everything you're doing with the ministerium, and you're both parents. I'll ask you both. Welcome back to For the Record. More now from my Welcome back to For the Record. More now from my conversation with Rabbi Ron Simons and his wife, Rabbi Barbara Simons. As they say goodbye to Pittsburgh after nearly 2 decades, the pair have clearly left a mark on the Pittsburgh region. I speak with them about that and more. It sounds like you're taking those same concepts of loving kindness and doing stuff,
Right.
boots on the ground, to make an impact in Monroeville and the surrounding community.
Right.
So I'll tell you, and Rabbi Ron knows this, that I grew up as I call it a PK, a preacher's kid. My dad was a Presbyterian minister before he retired. So I get a glimpse into what it's like to be a member of clergy and a faith leader. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. I'm thinking about everything you do, Barbara, has just in your role at Temple David, and then everything you're doing with the ministerium, and you're both parents. I'll ask you both, how do you get more hours in the day? How do you do all the things that you do? Maybe Barbara, you want to start. Not to make it I'm not trying to make it a gender thing, because
Right.
you know.
But it's a partnership. I mean, we grew up with these values, and we were educated into these values, and being a rabbinic being a rabbinic family. We have 3 kids. They were all part of it, right? For someone in a congregational role, I had to go out to the hospital now, and I couldn't be here for this, or I needed to, do whatever it was doing, or, explain funerals, and especially funerals of people who were younger and more tragic, and that kind of thing. And so it was constant conversation and education, but celebration, right, of our traditions, and being able to be together and learn, and the kids seem to have really imbibed all of that.
Yeah.
We have great kids.
We have great kids.
We've had great kids for all the 28 years that we've been parents of them. And we had this standard at home. Every Friday night when we would begin the Sabbath, we would all have dinner together, whether that was at home or if there was a community dinner at the synagogue, we'd do that together. And then we had a rule, and I think you'll appreciate this as a PK, that you had to go to at least one service every Sabbath. So we all would go generally on Friday night together, and then the others Barbara would handle right on her own. When I wasn't working in a congregation, I was with them and the like. The thing about the kids is that they've each embraced the values and the culture and the spirituality, each in their own way, and are now making something of it for themselves as they grow into their own leadership.
But if you go back to the question you asked earlier of Ron about Pittsburgh, beyond Monroeville, which is a smaller suburb, there are just so many different aspects of Pittsburgh generally and within the Jewish community. So joining into the International Jewish Choir, Hazamir, into youth groups, into camps, into all of these different pieces, all help shape them. So it really is the village that raised our children.
It's the town square,
yeah.
Right? It's how we all came together. So we'll boast a little bit about our children if we could.
Please.
So Aviva is our oldest, and she has a master's in not-for-profit Jewish management from our seminary. So she's not ordained, but she knows how to run organizations, and she's an assistant director of an overnight Jewish summer camp in California, where they will welcome now some 900 kids all summer long, right, to experience Jewish culture and spirituality in a way that you can only do at an overnight camp.
And your other children?
And Alana is our middle one, who is just ordained a rabbi, and she will be taking a pulpit in upstate New York, and so we will be pleased to not live too far away from her. We're very proud of both of them. And Micah.
Micah is our youngest, and Micah has just completed his first year of rabbinic school. Rabbinic school happens after 4 years of college, and so he has another 4 years to go. It's a 5-year program, and actually he's going to be a conservative rabbi, whereas we're Reform rabbis. So he's a little bit more traditional than we are, but that just shows the respect that we have for the diversity within the Jewish community and the community at large. But we have great kids.
Yeah. How's all their Hebrew? Are they pretty good?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And we all have a good time together.
We do, we
yeah.
also talk about things, and in the family text, sometimes somebody will text saying, what other families have conversations like that? I mean, it depends what it is, and it's just, we're all connected on multiple levels. I mean, our middle daughter just became a colleague as well as our child, right? So I said to our eldest, when she got this dream job of hers, I wrote her a note at camp. I said, thank you for taking this job, because I can get back to my task of sending care packages to you, right? But we're just all connected in so many ways.
That's wonderful.
And we can't wait to see what they make of community and Jewish values and Jewish culture and spirituality. How do they now take it from what they learned from us early 21st century as they now lead community into the middle of the 21st century? I can't wait to see it.
Still ahead.
The values of the gateway to the Midwest, we've really just taken into ourselves.
What the Simons will be taking with them as they bid farewell to Pittsburgh. Welcome back to For the Record. In the final part of my interview with the Rabbi Ron Simons and Rabbi Barbara Simons, I asked them about the impact Pittsburgh has had on them over the years, including what they'll be taking with them as they head to New York after nearly 2 decades. Take a look. What's next for you both?
So I actually am going back to a model of when we had lived in Westchester about 25 years ago. and our girls were born, I worked in part-time, different jobs part-time. And so right now I took a small synagogue actually in the Bronx. I'm very excited. They're very kind people, but it's very part-time. And so I am going to use that as my basis and then build around that other positions as well.
Great.
And I'm working on doing what I do here, there. Waiting for some organizations to put the funding together so that we can continue to redefine neighbor as a moral concept in Westchester, New York.
Will you be taking a piece of Pittsburgh to New York with you?
Oh, many. I had to go down to the Strip District and get the perfect sweatshirt. So I went with the black one with the gold letters that say 412 because I felt it said everything.
Love it.
We're taking so many things. We take silly things like giving directions based on what used to be somewhere, which my first week at Temple, somebody said, well, just go over there where something used to be. And I looked at them and I said, I've lived here for a week. I don't know what used to be.
Welcome to Pittsburgh.
But now I say it, you know, where that used to be, even though it was there before I had moved here, right? So sillier things in a sense. We have said that so far we're gonna stick with rooting for the Pittsburgh teams, and that's probably very important.
Thank you.
Right,
Pittsburgh
I know.
thanks you.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Especially
Well, we need the
Pirates.
faith and the hope.
Yeah,
Right?
especially for the
Absolutely.
Well,
Pirates.
the Steelers also,
Well,
you know, let's face it.
well,
And the Penguins this year.
maybe.
Didn't go so well.
But yeah, of course. I mean, we've been here for 18 years. 18 in Judaism is in Hebrew chai, which means life, right? We've made a life here, and we've taken from Pittsburgh just the culture. We love the theater and the museums and so much about Pittsburgh. We like the small town feel and just, as it were, the neighborliness, right? Of the values of the gateway to the Midwest. We've really just taken into ourselves and hope to bring with us as we go forward.
So we actually gave each of the kids a few years back, we gave them a steel PGH flat wall hanging, and each one of them has it hung in their house on the wall that faces Pittsburgh.
Right, so it's a tradition in Judaism to have some kind of something on the wall facing Jerusalem. Right. So for us in Pittsburgh, it's on the eastern wall, and it could be a piece of art, it could be something more, whatever it might be. So now, for one of them, it's facing east, for two of them, it's facing west, but they put their little PGH up there.
Thank you both for what you've done for Pittsburgh, and we just wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Still ahead on For the Record.
Toward the end of my career, somebody would say something once in a while, you got a chance to get in the Hall of Fame, and I thought, well, I'd like to at least get on the ballot. Maybe I can at least get on the ballot, but I never thought that I was going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Punching his ticket to the Hall of Fame, an early look at next week's episode as we sit down with the legendary Pirates manager, Jim Leyland. We're back right after this. Welcome back to For the Record. Now, an extended preview of next week's show. Next Sunday, July 21st, legendary Pirates manager Jim Leyland will be officially entered into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Our Ryan Recker sits down to talk with him about this once-in-a-lifetime event, as well as his legacy here in Pittsburgh.
Jim Leyland spent decades writing out thousands of lineup cards. Recently, it's been writing a speech that's been keeping him busy, as in his Hall of Fame speech.
I got some good advice from some guys that got in. They said it's the most difficult speech you'll ever give. I have the beginning of my speech and the end of my speech, but the substance part in the middle is the part that I'm having a tough time putting together.
Is there a theme to it?
Well, yeah, there is kind of a theme, and my theme is really two things. How fortunate I was to be able to do something I loved every day of my life. I've been going in a clubhouse for 60 years. The other part of it is the opportunities that I was given. Some people get one opportunity, some people get two, and I was given several opportunities to pursue my career, which I'm very grateful for.
You've been known to be an emotional guy. What do you think your emotions will be on that Sunday?
Well, I'm certainly going to try to control it, but what I've done actually, I've listened to a lot of the speeches, players, managers, and there are people that get emotional. So it's not like there's something wrong with that. So if I get a little emotional, I'm not going to be too embarrassed, but I don't want it to be to the point where, it's too emotional. So, some heartfelt thank yous and appreciations and everything. And I know it's going to be an emotional speech, but I'm going to try to curtail that as much as I can.
Following his election, Leland visited Cooperstown and soaked in all the nostalgia. Very soon, he too will be a permanent fixture there, one of only 23 managers to experience baseball immortality. Whether it's here in the immediate future or years down the road, when someone goes to Cooperstown and sees Jim Leyland's plaque, what do you want them to think or know about Jim Leyland, the manager and the person?
I hope people just think about somebody that works hard. I hope some minor league managers get a chance to go there, not to see me necessarily, but when they see it, then I hope they look at the history of 18 straight years in the minor leagues before I ever got a day in the majors.
And the Bucks have won the National League East.
I hope they understand that working hard, doing the best you can, giving everything you got every day, there is hope. I think by getting to the Hall of Fame, I think it is something that should be encouraging to the minor league managers that think they're never going to get a chance. I was one of those guys. So I hope that it's an encouragement to those guys not to give up.
That's next week on For the Record. Until then, if you have a topic you'd like us to address, send us an email to news@WTAE.com. You can also rewatch this episode or any episode with the Very Local app on your smartphone, your tablet, or your smart TV. Thanks for joining us and have a great week.